seconded. Commissioner White made the motion. So please record your vote.
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay. Commissioner Kemp, are you going to make some opening remarks?
I am. Thank you. I will make some opening remarks, and then I'll call up Ms. Ornita to answer a few questions. I first raised the issue of our outdated planning commission fees about 5 months ago at our May 16th board meeting, when I asked for a report comparing Hillsborough County land use planning fees with the fees imposed by Pasco, Manatee, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. 4 months ago, at the June land use meeting, Melissa Zornito, the executive director of our planning commission, reported that our fees are drastically lower, shamefully, I think, lower than the fees charged in other counties, including our neighbors in Pasco and Manatee, as well as Broward and Palm Beach counties. She provided a chart at that time, which I've included with this agenda item, and I'll ask staff to put up now. So, when you look at this, as you see now, in Hillsborough, a developer can seek to change our comprehensive plan, that's our county's guiding policy document for growth and development, for a mere $1,000. In Manatee County, an application such as this, depending on acreage, can cost as much as $20,000. In Pasco, as much as $25,000. I did a calculation too for Broward at $32,000, and believe it or not, Miami-Dade was $230,000. At that time, Ms. Renito also stated that Hillsborough County's Planning Commission fees had not been changed or updated for more than 30 years. You can take that slide down. Thank you. Ms. Sornito also reported that our fees account for a very small percentage of the budget that supports the Planning Commission's work. She explained that the vast majority of funding for the Planning Commission is paid for by hardworking taxpayers who pay ad valorem real property taxes on their homes, businesses, and other real property throughout the county. In June, Ms. Zornita also explained that a fee study was done in 2016 by Tyndale Oliver to update the fees. Although the study, which is included in your agenda item, is dated December 2016, that was actually just when I took office, it was never brought to my attention until I stumbled on it while doing my own research this year. The study lays out very modest increases in fees based on the cost and amount of effort the staff must put forward in reviewing these applications. The study considers data for 3 years from 2012 to 2015, including documented Planning Commission staff time. The cost of advertisements, letters, signs, notices, and characteristics of the projects evaluated by the Planning Commission staff, which affect the effort needed to effectively conduct reviews. Ms. Zornito reported that the study did not consider overhead costs or anything like that that are done for all the amendments, but it's based on the staff time related to individual amendments. It also doesn't account for the number of costs associated with required public hearings. The study also included stakeholder interviews that were done at that time. This is again at the end of 2016. And here are some of the comments I quote from page 15. And as I reread, and you can see in your agenda item, there wasn't a lot of interest or concern about this very mild change in the fees. As I quote from page 15, stakeholders were aware that the user fees have not been updated for a long time and that the current fees are unlikely to capture the effort associated with providing services. They suggested that the fee should be fair and that the fees they see in other communities tend to be higher than what the Planning Commission is currently charging. So I'd like to bring Ms. Ornita up and just ask a few questions.
Commissioner Kemp, before she comes up, I was reviewing this item, and I really appreciate your passion for this, and I completely understand. No, it's not. But, you know, I think this item really needs to come back to us where we can spend and do a very thorough review with the results that Melissa got. You know, when we did the mobility fee, we had an extensive process that really involved public input, stakeholders, and actually it was part of our budget process going forward. And I mean, we looked at this issue in my Economic Prosperity Committee. Do you remember, Commissioner Miller? And I mean, I'm just giving you my thoughts until we get too far in the weeds here, that I really think we need to bring this back at a later time where we can really spend and devote the time on it, because this affects a lot of people. I saw the Port Tampa Bay on there, and they didn't know anything about it. And I understand they don't know where's the money going, you know, all these, what's the justification for the increases. I understand Tyndall Oliver, they've done a lot of work for us. But I'm just giving you my thoughts on this, that I wish you would support just bringing this back so that we can do a more thorough review and make it part of our
Well, I
budget
think once we
process.
hear more about it, I would like to continue with what I have
I'm just
here.
not sure we need to hear more about it. It needs to be a part of a
Well,
larger
I think it's important that we do
presentation.
hear about it now. It's been sitting there for 2 years in the dust. It's been 30 years. It's been 3 decades since we.
I completely
But the other
understand
thing
that,
I would
but it's a process issue,
I would
not
say,
a desire
Commissioner
issue.
Merman, I was part of the meetings before I became a commissioner as a community member. In between 2015 and 2016, I attended meetings, stakeholder meetings, different meetings with different community members, stakeholders, and why in the world can't we do something as minor as this? In the meantime, what we're doing is looking at our taxpayers are subsidizing these development fees. This is a very small part of what working people in this county are paying that they shouldn't be paying. We would be saving millions of dollars here that we could apply to the opioid program, that we could apply to drug addiction, to affordable housing, to all kinds of other things. So I'd like to at least move forward and finish having
I'm not sure we really need to. I don't know how anybody else feels. I know Commissioner Hagan, you're in the queue. Do you want to speak before we go further, or?
Excuse me, I think I have the floor, don't I?
Well, I know, but I call on you. I'm the chair.
I realize, but I would like to at least finish my item here.
Well, finish your opening remarks, but I just don't, I think we've got to do this as part of a process.
And that could be something that could be the discussion after this, but I think it's really important to at least get the information out here as I have asked.
But in effect, you're going to be asking her to give the information from the report, and that's what I'm trying to say. Let's bring her back and do the report.
We can certainly preliminarily look at this right now. There's no reason not to have to talk about this right now. We do everything we can to avoid talking about this and looking at it. There is a time.
No, you made a comment avoiding. We're not avoiding. It's just that we have a process. Whereas we have to have public input. When we did the mobility
I haven't
fee,
even made a motion yet, Commissioner Merman.
Well, I mean, you know.
So I would like to at least just get the information on the table here.
Okay, finish your opening remarks. I'm personally not in favor of going forward with this for the Planning Commission, just because I think they need to come back and give us a full-blown presentation. Just my comments.